It's personal between me and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so really interesting fight got announced yesterday, and I gotta say, man, it came out of left field, and it was a pleasant surprise. I was happy to see that this fight got announced. So y'all can say the date. It'll be a momentous occasion, April the 6th, as that gentleman right there, Brooklyn, New York's very own, a guy that gets a lot of criticism for being boring, but a guy that's a very skilled boxer, and I think fight by fight, he continues to show that he has one of the best jabs in the entire sport of boxing. So Richardson Hitchins, he's got a tough challenge on his hands, a dangerous challenge on his hands, and I give him a lot of credit for this fight because a lot of guys didn't want to fight this guy. A lot of guys at 135, this guy was ranked highly for years, and I never heard nobody really call him out or try to make a fight happen with him or anything like that. He'll be taking on a very dangerous puncher in that gentleman right there from Argentina, Gustavo Lemos. Yes, that Gustavo Lemos. Now, for those of you who don't know who Gustavo Lemos is, as you can see by his record on the screen, 29-0, 19 knockouts, has a good knockout ratio. He's fought some interesting names. I think the most notable name on his resume, it would definitely have to be Lee Selby, and many of us know Lee Selby. He was a guy that was former world champion. Lee Selby, we know him from fighting like George Kambosos Jr., and he was like one of George Kambosos Jr.'s real tough early fights. And Gustavo Lemos, Kambosos, when he fought Gustavo Lemos, Kambosos had a close, tough split decision with him. We know that he's been there with guys like Ricky Burns, Josh Warrington, and Eduardo Ramirez. And Lee Selby's been around the block, right? But when he fought Gustavo Lemos, when he stepped in with that guy right there, Gustavo Lemos, it wasn't no long fight. It wasn't no drawn-out fight. He got stopped in 5 rounds and was forced into retirement. So that right there lets you know that Gustavo Lemos can fight. You may not have heard a lot about him. His name may have not been in the headlines. You may not see him all over social media. But it's a very dangerous fight for Richardson Hitchins. And I gotta say this. This is the kind of opposition where it really makes me respect fighters because this guy is higher risk, low reward. People don't know him. And even if Richardson Hitchins beats him, he's not going to get like the most credit for beating a guy like Gustavo Lemos. But I know how good he is. I've seen him fight on a couple of occasions, and I know that he's the real deal, right? So this fight's going to be all about, 2 things, really. It's a classic boxer versus puncher matchup. Number one, it's going to be about can Richardson Hitchins outbox and keep this guy on the outside of his jab and then not allow him to get at a range where he can throw those dangerous punches that could hurt him. That's number one. Can he neutralize Gustavo Lemos? And then number 2, from the Lemos side of things, can he get past the jab of a Richard Hitchins? Because, look, people can say what they want about Hitchins, and they can say, oh, well, when he fought Zepeda, it was boring. Well, guess what? The reason it was boring was because, whether you like it or not, Jose Zepeda was not on that level. He's a good fighter, and maybe he's seen better days. Maybe he's a bit past it, but that's not what people were saying going into that fight. That was supposed to be a tougher fight than it actually was for Richard Hitchins, and he showed on that particular night, in that particular performance, that he is world class and that he does deserve on that top shelf level. So, I look at the resume of Hitchins throughout the years. I look at the guys like, he beat Puerto Rican Olympian Yomar Alamo. He beat Jose Zepeda with ease. He beat Arrhenius Mendez. He beat Kevin Thunderstone Johnson, who was a decent little club fighter. He beat my boy, Trayshawn Wiggins, early in his career. And that win his age well because Trayshawn's now a legitimate contender at welterweight. He beat Malik Hawkins, right? So he's done his thing. There's a lot of good bodies on that resume of Hitchins. And this one right now, I would definitely say out of all the guys he's fought, as far as punching power is concerned, I would say Lemos definitely is the biggest puncher he's fought. So I'm really excited about this fight. I would definitely say of the top 10 fights in boxing that are signed, sealed, and delivered on the schedule, this is the one it's in my top 10, and it'll be April 6th in Vegas at the new Fountain Blue, which is kind of crazy because the Fountain Blue is a South Florida thing, but I guess they want to steal our swag. They want to wear teal. They want to be like us in South Florida because we different over here. But nonetheless, I think it's a great fight. And I'll tell you this: if Richardson Hitchins makes this fight boring, and is able for the course of 12 or 10, for 12 rounds, if he's able to keep Lemos on the outside and neutralize him and outbox him and make this fight look like anything like the Zepeda fight, then God bless him. He's creme de la creme, top shelf, world-class fighter, you know? And at that point, I'd like to see him get a title shot. Now, I know Subriel Matias, he doesn't want to fight him because of the whole rehydration thing. So maybe he might need to go another route. But I think fight by fight, whether you love his style, hate his style, you gotta sometimes, especially if you're a man, you gotta remove your feelings, right? Because that's not, as men, we can't be in our feelings. Now, am I like the most gassed about seeing just Richardson Hitchins fight? Not necessarily, but when you put him in there with somebody who I think could present some danger to him, like a Lemos, and I get to see, you know, Ken Hitchins diffuse a guy who's undefeated, who's 29-0, who's knocked out a former world champion, and put him in retirement. When you put a dangerous problem like that in front of him, that gets me excited about Hitchins. And, you know, feelings to no feelings, he's developing and showing that he is one of the best pure boxers in the sport. So yeah, really good fight. It'll be out there in Vegas on April 6th. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about Hitchins versus, you know, Argentina's very young Gustavo Lemos? Very tough fight for a very high risk, low reward fight for Hitchins, but one that I do think, for me, it gets all my respect, because Lemos was at 135 for a long time. There were times where, you know, George Kambosos was in line to fight him. And, you know, these guys, nobody really ever fought him. Like, George didn't want to fight him. A lot of these guys didn't want to fight him. Shakur, his buddy, you know, these guys weren't trying to fight no Gustavo Lemos. So I'm not sitting here saying like he's this boogeyman, so to speak, but he was a high risk, low reward guy who was highly ranked for a long time in the IBF at 135. This fight's at 40. So I respect him for doing what a lot of his peers at 35 refused to do, in fighting a very dangerous, high risk, low reward, gunslinging power puncher from Argentina. Them guys is dangerous. Them Argentinian gunslinging power punchers, they're real dangerous. So, you know, God bless them. Looking forward to the fight. And let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What do you guys think about Hitchins versus Gustavo Lemos? Leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this video, click right here and make sure you subscribe. Much love from sunny South Florida.